so now, Americana from mount. This is probably one of my favorite attacks from mount. Okay, no, it is one of my favorite attacks from mount. The reason I like this is I don't have to move. So if I'm a 200-pound guy, I'm kind of heavy, guys don't really throw my base around too much. I have a good mount. You hold mount when they get tired, really safe submission versus maybe going for an arm bar, and if I lose it, they can get out. So this is a really nice high percentage, low risk. So in this case, Adrian is not grabbing his hands together. If he's grabbing his hands together, they'll do something else, and that will be on the choke series. Right now, I'm going to hold on to his elbow in his hand, or onto his wrist, put my elbow on his chest, and slide it down. So my elbow going up towards his neck, elbow goes to the floor. I'm hooking his wrist with my hand, or with my wrist. I'm not grabbing it with my hand. Okay, so I'm going to hook it. This other hand goes palm up, underneath, to grab my own wrist. So my wrist is grabbing his wrist, my hand is grabbing my wrist. I take my right leg and I straighten my right leg out and drop my hip, and I keep my left foot hooked tight to his hips. Head is on my hands, and I slide down. Now as I slide down, I lift his elbow up, and it's really important. Sometimes you hear it called the paintbrush lock, where you guys, it's like I'm painting the floor with his hand. Okay, so I keep the head down and up, so I need to bring that elbow up as I bring his hand close to his hips. Control the elbow. Pressure on the wrist, elbow on his chest, slide the elbow up to his throat and down to the floor. If I go palm down, my elbow is really high and it's harder to get underneath his arm. If I go palm up, I can scoop much, much better. I turn, grab my own wrist, I have control. Head is down so he can't go for my eyes. Turn my leg and my hip down and then apply the lock. I like the wrist-to-wrist contact versus this. Because if Adrian tries to straighten his arm out, which is fairly common, then you're working on your fingers, which is a little bit weaker. If I hook with my wrist and he tries to straighten his arm out, I find this is going to be much, much stronger. Okay? Especially with my head down, which is really, really important. One more time. Now, add as a little extra bonus here, my instructor from Toronto, Professor Shaw Franco, showed me this variation. I push his elbow into my own leg here, and my other hand's on his wrist. And I kick my elbow away and push his wrist to the floor. And then the rest would be the same. Elbow comes down, hand comes in, hip drops, head down in Americana. This one I like, it's one of my favorites because if you can get your arm underneath his elbow, which is actually pretty easily, you push into your own leg. So he ends up kind of resisting, but not a terrible amount. And I just take that base away to drop it down to the floor. Okay, so this is a nice little way to trick it. If you're having trouble getting underneath, what you should be doing is putting a hand in his collar to go for a choke, or put your hand here to go for a choke, and when he defends, then you slide up. If you're going for Americana and he grabs his hands together, which is a very common thing, guys realize pretty quickly Americana's coming, start working for the choke again. So hands start coming in, you can slide that hand up, and now you can work for your Americana or just go straight for your choke. Okay, so Americana, really, really good one. Check the choke series one for how to do cross choke from mount, and then you can link the two together. Okay, have fun.